um, in terms of fundamental, because Roydell went to business school. I didn't go to business school, but I just did a lot of learning through MIT Open courseware. So MIT opened up their
Mm-hmm.
university maybe
Yeah.
20 years ago.
And
So I
let's
just kind of,
actually switch over to foundations and
yeah,
frameworks because I think
okay,
that would it.
fun.
So that's so just because we're getting the sense of legacy lessons, value ventures, health and harmony. You guys got a sense of where we're going with those three, and then foundations and frameworks. So you
Okay,
mentioned that
yeah.
the do you want to bring up your other initiatives at this point in time, or do you want to keep them?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later because what Roydell is referring to is I'm currently working on a couple AI projects, mindful voice, multimodal, meaning can talk, listen, similar things that you see now in Google. Well, I've been doing it for a little while now, so Google catch up. Okay, Google, you catch up, but right and tool thinking. So I decide because of some of the stuff that I said earlier that this is the first time in history where questions are more important than answers. So what are what are the unique selling propositions then? It has to be how tool thinking and frameworks. You have to think in terms of frameworks, and I think people in the metropolitan area, kids, what they should be teaching kids, and we'll go over that um, in weeks and months to come,
Mm-hmm.
is framework thinking, like systems approach, right? Because once you understand how systems work internally, even conceptually, you're going to be better able to use chat gpt or any other large language model or multimodals. Because when we say large language model, it's a misnomer because what happened now is that they're no longer just language models. It's the same algorithm, but now they can talk, they can see and all that. It's using the same transformer architecture, the same architecture. But it now is not just large language model anymore.
Right.
It's more multimodal.
And
Yeah,
hear this
we'll get
too.
into.
Hear this too, because found and I think foundations and framework. I also think mental foundations, mental frameworks as well, right?
Yes.
So these are
Yep.
things that help you get through, for example, understanding what winning looks like, right? To be able to step back and
Yep.
figure out
Yep.
how to do
Yep.
this stuff, right? So you don't get caught up in certain things. So to be able to
Yep.
navigate, um, my early 20s, university, workplace, all these different things, how to actually think about the room, right? What is it that people want? The value that you're looking
Exactly.
to provide versus what it is you're looking to take, understanding that you have to give a little bit in order to, and yes, there's a whole bunch there, but really just having that understanding that you want to be able to give, and the law of reciprocity or reciprocity will come back and create
Yep.
the
Yep.
ability to capture value, right? We talked about the idea of the invisible bank making these deposits
Yep.
into this by the value that you're providing and not trying to capture at the same time some of these subtle nuances. And one of the things you said
Yep.
too, the difference is that sometimes it's the difference that makes a difference, right? So
Yep. Or the
can
difference
you
that makes a difference. Oh, sorry, cut you.
yeah,
But the difference that makes a difference is so small, but the impact is so large, right?
that's it.
So it kind of nuances that you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it is. So foundations and frameworks, we're really gonna get into the details, the nitty gritty, as they like to say. So that's kind of where that's at. And then to bring it back, we'll go to the final